Welcome to the podcast, Through the Thick and Thin, where we highlight what it takes to be in a successful marriage. We live in a day and time where over 50% of all marriages fail. I believe it's because we're missing something, and in order to find it, I want to tap into those who have been successful in their commitment to their marriage. Each week, we will highlight a couple who has endured a test of their marriage and discuss how they were able to overcome it. Join us in this journey through the thick and thin. Now help me welcome our hosts, John and Mia Ruffin.
All right, welcome to another episode Through the Thick and Thin. Babe, I love you.
I love you.
Man, you know, you will do anything with me. I remember a time where I know you were definitely afraid of motorcycles. And I asked you to take a trip with me on a motorcycle. And you came.
I did.
But you know what was really odd about that situation? We saw a motorcycle accident on the way. I can't believe it. But man, you've been with me through the thick and thin.
Mhm.
Yo, we have a good one today. I'm gonna let everyone introduce themselves, but for some reason, we just connect with some of the greatest people Huntsville has to offer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let them start by introducing themselves. So we'll start with you.
I'm Barbara Powell Love, and we've been living here in Huntsville 6 years.
And how long have y'all been married?
We've been married 23 years.
23 years.
Yes.
That's a Michael Jordan right there.
Yeah, man, I like that. The champ. So
The champ, that's right. The GOAT.
yeah, my name is Marcellus Love. I'm the husband of this wonderful lady here.
He's my favorite husband. Aw.
Did you know with his last name being Love that this is love? Like, was that just a sign? You was like, what's your name? Love. I would have been smooth. Did you have a smooth line with your last name?
Oh,
Not
back in
really.
the day, I used to tell them, hey, ain't nothing love. You want me love? You want to know what love is? Then meet love.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
then he
You
bought me a
won't
dog.
love, meet love.
Aw, he bought her dog.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that does it every time.
Is
That does
that what it was?
it.
Oh, man.
Puppy will do. He's really trying to win it out.
Yep, Topaz.
And it was expensive one too.
Oh, my goodness.
Was it one of those carry dogs? The one you got to carry with
It was
you
a
every-
Shih Tzu.
a Shih Tzu. Okay, they just about carry dogs.
Just
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yes, and
She was
she was a small one. Yeah, it was kind of a lap dog.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's
That's
up.
sweet.
Well, I bought a dog. And it was little at one point.
Yeah. It was a German Shepherd, so they got me fast.
Real quick. We
Yeah.
called her Lucky. I miss Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm John, as you know,
And I'm Mia.
and we've been married 20 years, and I'm going to say that until it's
We get to
21.
21.
I'm going to say it over and over again. So I'm grateful for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, it don't feel like yesterday, but it don't feel like 20.
Nah, for sure. It doesn't feel
It
like
doesn't
20.
feel like 20. It feels like maybe about 3. We've
Maybe
had-
7. So that's a good thing.
We've had some ups and downs. So yeah, I would say we've been through some things. So about 7, 3 to 7.
37.
37. Is that a jail sentence? That's a misdemeanor.
God.
We've had a misdemeanor. Okay, so let's jump into the topic today. I was thinking about this topic, and I was loving the fact that you guys came in because your story is so powerful and it's really unique. Well, maybe not as unique, but it is still a pretty decent story, and I'm gonna let you guys tell it. But you know, when it comes to extended families and their impact in our marriages is a real thing. You know, my uncle, when I got married, he was like, make sure you don't let family come into your home. And I really didn't know what he meant because I'm like, family's family. But I've always been, as a guy, and maybe for me, my experience as a guy, I've always been like, okay, yeah, family, I like you guys, but I can always go home. And nobody asked me to do anything. I didn't have to take care of no kids. Nobody was asking me to do anything extra. I showed up, had fun, went home. So for me, family was just how bad can it get? And I didn't have one of those mothers who were like, I need my son with me everywhere I go.
Mm.
So I didn't have that. So when I got married, I was actually thankful because I didn't really connect with my family as much as I wanted to. And Mia was so family oriented. She was like, when are we going to hang with your family? Or when is your family going to come down? Or let's do this for your family. But here's where the problem came in. And I call it a problem, and it's not that necessarily a problem, but it can impact a relationship. There have been several occasions where we've had to get overly involved with family members, especially children. And I'm trying to say this without saying, because I love the fact that we had the opportunity to help in the arenas we've helped. So I don't want nobody feeling bad because I know everybody in my family is going to listen to this. But there was times where we had to step up.
Or didn't have to. There were times when we
Chose.
chose to step up because we felt like it would be in the best interest.
I hear you, but if we didn't step up,
I mean, we would be fine. We would have
we would have been
yeah.
fine. But not in good conscience. You know what I mean? Like, I have a conscience. I could not have just been quiet. And first of all, I'm thankful because I wouldn't have been able to do anything without my partner. But yeah, it was a choice, but it wasn't a choice. So I'm going to stop there before we share our story.
I'm hearing you and I'm thinking some of the same things that I experienced as well. So I know where you're coming from.
So share with us, like, what is your take on having a relationship that's being impacted by extended family's needs impacting on yours, and whether that's taking on a child or a financial responsibility or giving your time and energy trying to make sure that they're okay versus taking care of your own home.
Well, I can truly testify. I have a daughter, Sebastian's mom, and she had some issues, and it was a no-brainer. I probably would have done it with or without him, but as a couple, we had to discuss what was most important and how it's going to impact us because we were ready to retire and travel the world and
Yeah.
do all kinds of things. We weren't trying to have a baby,
Right.
but when Sebastian was born, it was like, let's go get him, because we felt like we had to save him. And we supported her as well. We still support her, not financially anymore, because it came a time when it was time for her to step off and do her own thing, because we began to
Boundaries.
realize we can keep pouring and
Mm.
pouring financially,
Enabling.
emotionally. Enabling
Mhm.
was a big one,
Uh-huh.
to the point where I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep because I'd wake up in the middle of the night wondering if she was okay.
Mhm.
Um, is she having cramps? Where is she? And I found that my blood pressure stayed so elevated that Marcella said, "Babe, you're going to have to just let it go." And in my mind, I'm thinking, but that's not your daughter. I
Okay.
can't just let her go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can't,
Mhm.
and it's like, I, I just felt like no matter what was happening with her, I couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And then I kept praying, and we would pray. We still pray for her
Mhm.
every morning. And we would be praying, Lord, wherever she is, Lord, put a hedge of protection over her, around her, keep her safe, all that kind of stuff. And then I would pray and envision myself taking her and putting her at the foot of the cross, And then I see myself going back to the foot of the cross, picking her up and bringing her back because it was like the pressure of not knowing if she was okay or if if she was safe. So finally, after a few years, maybe when Sebastian was about 2, because we had been dealing with things long before he was born.
Mhm.
And when he was 2, um, we went through the process of legally adopting him just to make sure he stayed safe. And then when he was about 4, I started praying and said, Lord, just I love my daughter, but just show me what to do.
Right.
And I truly envisioned myself taking her, laying her at the foot of the cross, and I turned around and I left her there. And I felt like that was survival. So Marcellus and I are raising Sebastian. We still stay in touch with my daughter. We love her, but when she calls and says, I need this and I need that, oh, you know, I'm sure you'll work it out. And see, at one point, it was like every time she called,
Right.
oh, she needs this,
Mhm.
she needs that. And then one day I felt like, wait a minute, I'm supporting 2 households.
Mhm.
And then I would hear that she's traveling here, she's traveling there.
Right.
She was
About her
traveling
business.
North Dakota,
Uh-huh.
Arizona, California, Michigan. It's like, but I
Just like
gave
money
her
for some
emergency
rent. Yeah.
money.
Right.
That
Right.
was emergency. Oh, I need this. So I literally had to just stop and say no. And boy, did that hurt. It was so difficult. And I would say, Lord, forgive me for saying no. But after a while, I was like, okay, I could do this.
Mhm.
So now my heart is less heavy because I have literally left her at the foot of the cross.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Marcellus has been like that great support that,
Uh-huh.
if that's what's going on, you know, we just gotta pray about it.
Right.
And when she calls, he he gives her advice or whatever, she needs, but we just don't do the financial thing anymore. Maybe a little bit here and there, but
Mhm.
nowhere.
Now, did you help raise her? Because I mean, y'all were
Yes,
Well, she was a
she was a
she was a
teenager.
teenager.
Yes,
Okay.
she was a teenager, and uh, at a point in time, we had to recognize that we're trying to live a Christian family life.
Mhm.
Both of us in church, we know what the Word of God tells us, and I used to share with her and I could see her when she was really down and out about her daughter. And I used to be as encouraging as I pops can, tell her it's gonna be okay. Look, God is in control. This is God's world. It's not our world. And he tells us in the word, he allows us to go through these trials and tribulations. And he said that we will have those. So this is not biblical, but I've always said that, and I always share with her, God allows trials and tribulation in our own life for our own good. That's what I believe because we're supposed to learn from it. And I looked at that when I was growing up as a kid, my mom used to always say, "Don't touch the stove because it'll burn you."
Mhm.
You
Some
know,
people don't believe that.
Mhm.
Touch.
Yeah.
and most kids don't,
Mhm.
but they have to experience that touch.
Mhm.
Oh, it's hot, it burns, and that's what we're supposed to do with life.
Right.
So I've always tried to be there as encouraging and supportive as possible, and talk about the adoption of Sebastian. It was a lot of responsibility,
Yes.
but I didn't want to get caught up in all the legal stuff about this and about that because he's not our child.
Right.
So
So you were for the adoption.
yes,
Mhm.
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
And because we sit and we talked about this young kid, his future.
Mhm.
I looked at what's going on in the world, in the streets out there. We did not want him to grow up like that. And we knew that his mom couldn't support him in the way that he needs to be supported, spiritually, um, physically, medically. All this stuff played a factor in making the decision to adopt him. I had to tell you this story.
Before you can I ask one quick question?
Sure.
How long were y'all married before the need to adopt him or take him in came a factor? Like, did you get some time with your wife?
Yeah, 12, 13 years.
Oh, okay.
See,
Yeah.
he didn't have that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. As a baby, I always say I must really love this woman,
Right.
because as a baby, I could not touch her like this. I couldn't sleep in the bed with her. He would have a fit.
Yeah.
I mean, I could never understand that. So I'm saying, hey, I don't have a wife.
We started taking care of him when he was 6 months old, but she was still in his life on a regular basis. She was doing well. She was going to school. She had her job. And eventually she got her an apartment. She got a car.
Yeah.
She's just doing great. And then baby daddy pops in and say, hey, I want you back. And she dropped everything and disappeared with the baby. And by now, I'm attached.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but the grace of God. I got a phone call in the middle of the night from a stranger. We were living in Georgia at the time. And the stranger called and said, I know where that baby is. And I said, who is this? I know where your daughter and that baby is.
Because we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I said, where are they? She said, I can't. I said, who are you? She said, I can't tell you who I am, but you need to get to Las Vegas and get them before something happens to that baby. I didn't know where they were. My sister, Connie, her husband worked for the airlines, and I called her.
Could I interject this?
Sure.
Let me just interject something in this story. All of a sudden, I recognized my wife was walking around the house. She didn't have much to say. And I could see her really wrestling with something. And finally, one day she came to me and she said, Marcella, she says, I got to go get my baby. She said the spirit.
It was the day after that call.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what it was, but God was in this,
Right.
And that's where it should be with any relationship. So she said, I have to go get my baby, and I support her. I said, yeah, go ahead, and you can finish your story.
I got on the plane. My sister got me an airline ticket. I got on the plane, not knowing where I was going. All I knew, I was going to Las Vegas.
Just going to Vegas.
And I get off the plane, and I get a phone call from her phone, but it was the police, and they said, they gave me an address where they were. I'm in the airport, and they said, we're at this particular address. I can't remember where. If you get here within 20 minutes, we won't call CPS.
Wow.
That's a blessing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
a blessing.
unbelievable.
Yes.
At the time, my niece lived there.
Who can deny that was not a divine intervention?
There's a God.
So you flew from Georgia.
Georgia?
All the way to Las
to
Vegas.
To Vegas.
Yes.
Coming off
Don't
the
know where you're
plane.
going. You
Well,
just
had no idea.
know your daughter's there somewhere.
And nobody knew she was coming.
Nobody knew I was coming.
Just your sister.
Except my niece,
Yeah.
who lived there. And I called her. She picked me up from the airport. And the baby daddy was there. And he wanted me to get in the car with him. So I said, I have a ride, because he found out I was coming, and I don't know how he.
Do you think it was him?
The person that called me was
somebody in his family,
or
His
his
family.
girlfriend, or somebody.
Somebody he knew.
I think.
And I think the problem was she didn't want her there.
Yeah, that's what
because it was like a.
Oh, she was
conflict.
like,
He wanted to get her out of his
Come and
life.
get her.
out of my way.
Yeah.
So when when we got to where the police were, it was a parking lot. And supposedly when he had called her to say, I I want you to come here. But she dropped everything and she went there. But by the time she went, she tried to drive from Georgia to Las Vegas in 24 hours with the baby, not stopping, because she figured if it didn't work out, she was going to drive back and start a new job. That's the way her mind was working, because he said he wanted her there. So when we get there, she's in an ambulance because she's exhausted.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be with baby daddy, but because she was exhausted and acting kind of weird, he put her out.
24 hours to Vegas
Yeah. He
is
put her out
ridiculous.
and
It
the
is.
baby. So they're in a
Almost
parking
impossible
lot,
to drive in 24 hours.
and the restaurant called the police.
Because they
So
like
I
this.
get there, and there's Sebastian, no diaper, just some shorts, no shirt, hair all over his head. He had a lot of hair at the time. And he was like, "Mommy, mommy," and she wasn't herself. And when I saw her, I went over to her and I was like, "Oh, my baby, are you okay?" And she looked at me. The voice that came out of her mouth was not her, and the face was not her. It was totally, I can't even describe, but when I went to touch her, I had to jump back because the voice that came out of her. And I realized that it was a possession there. People don't believe in demonic possession, but it was present right there. So I got the baby out of the police car, and they told me, in order to take him, you're going to need to go to court and get custody of him here in Clark. I
Yeah.
think it was Clark County, whatever. So I had to end up staying for the week. Thank God my niece was there and she opened up her home, and I stayed the whole
Yeah.
week. We went to court and I got temporary custody of him and flew back, but I had to get custody of him in Georgia when I got back.
Right.
She ended up in the hospital, but when she got out and got back on her feet, tax time came. She showed up at my door, and I was afraid of her because of something that had
Yeah.
happened previously and the way she was acting before. And I, Sebastian at the time, he was 2, and he was very busy. He had climbed up on a chair and was trying to open the door. Thank God he couldn't get it open.
Yeah.
So I stood in the door and talked to her through the screen because she said, I just wanted to get my baby. What she was planning to do was come and snatch him.
Yeah.
Right.
So I called the police, and the police came, and she gave him the paperwork that she was trying to stop the paperwork.
Yeah.
And he said I had 10 days. So within those 10 days, we got an attorney, we went to court, and they still awarded me custody. By now, she has spent all of um, her tax return money partying, renting a condo, doing big
Yeah.
things, because in her mind, the money was going to be there forever. And I I ended up getting custody of him again, but it was temporary custody. Then Marcella said, "Why don't we, when she gets better, why don't we talk to her about adopting him?" And we put it to her in a way, if Marcellus was his guardian, he's military, he would have all of these
Yeah.
benefits and
Yeah.
all of this. First, she said no. But when we went to court, she realized that they were going to pull out a lot of things about her,
Her past.
Yeah.
and she didn't want that to happen. So she agreed.
Yep.
And I told her, I said, "You're going to always be his mom,
Yeah.
but we're responsible for him. I'll allow you to talk to him and all of that." And we do.
Yeah.
We don't keep her from talking to him. But when she's not herself and she says the wrong thing, click, is I got a quick finger and that's it. But like I said, I love my daughter, but it's not the daughter that I gave birth to. So we pray every day. My sisters and I started a prayer call that we meet every morning at 6:30. Initially, it was just to pray for our kids, and it was
Yeah.
mainly because of her and one of our other nieces. And now all of us on the prayer call every morning,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
all of our kids are top priority
Uh-huh.
on that prayer call. And we see some changes. We
Uh-huh.
really do.
Yeah.
And I asked God, why is it taking me so long to see the change that I
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
see her? But we are very hopeful,
Uh,
that one day she's gonna be totally in her right mind.
mhm.
She's been doing great for the
Good.
past
Yeah.
year and, very, mannerable when she
Mhm.
calls, and that's a
Yeah.
plus,
We're
because
gonna
at
claim
one
that.
time, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
We're gonna
posting
claim that.
stuff on Facebook that
Uh-huh.
wasn't true because in her mind,
Yeah.
that's what she thought
Yep.
was
Mhm.
going on. I mean, if I could write a book,
Ye
and it's called Symphony in the Fire.
I got a question though, and it's really to those who like yourself and Mia, because I relate to you because it was my family who was impacting my relationship
Yeah.
by us needing to step in. But Mia, r- and I know it was tough because a couple of times you came to me and you were like, man, we've been married and we haven't had not 1 year to ourselves since we've been married.
So it started off right
It
away.
started
Pretty
off
much.
pretty much, maybe I think 1 year, maybe the first year, maybe. I don't even know because my brother lived with me, then my sister lived with me, then my
Mhm.
mom lived with me. Like there was probably
People were around a lot.
right. There was so I remember that you never complained other than the
Wow.
only thing you said was we haven't had any time to ourselves out of
Yeah.
all of that. And it wasn't like every day you were saying that. It
Right.
was maybe every blue moon. How did you guys, knowing that this isn't your fault, this isn't your family's stabler, more stable than mine, it's not your fault. How do you, as the supporter, seeing this,
Mhm.
knowing that you love us,
Mhm.
how do you how do you
I
handle that? How do you
I think we came from a blessed family in the beginning. Obviously, there was good teaching about love and family in her side of the family and my family as well, because I have never experienced any negativity from her side of the family.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's experienced
None.
any negativity from my side of the family. Matter of fact, we
That's
just got back yesterday from my family reunion.
Mhm.
And they love her from day one. And they even Sebastian, they just love this kid to death.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that makes me feel good. And excuse me. But I look at it, I grew up, my dad always drilling me, son, when you grow up, be different. I was upset with my dad because I couldn't hang out with my friends. My dad always had me doing this and doing that, and I couldn't go with them. But he always drilled in my head, son, be different. Be different. Don't be like them. They doing the drug thing, the alcohol thing, and the fighting and all this. But he always drilled in me, be different, be different. And I did. I grew up. So I'm different from and I know that to this day.
Mhm.
But I thank God for her because I had a daughter as well
Mhm.
Okay.
from a previous relationship that she was 10 years old.
No, she was 6
No,
when we
she was
met.
6. Yeah.
Mhm.
When we met and then we got married. So she helped me raise her.
Oh,
And what a blessing that was to accept her. And she didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but not one time I ever heard her say something negative about it. Every time I turn around, you always got this child. You always got this child. Can we help her every time? But I think one thing that helped us get through this was the fact that at that particular time when we met, I was singing with a gospel group and she was singing with her sisters.
Mhm.
So we did not know each other until such time after we met. So after we met, then we started traveling together,
Okay.
the Powell sisters and then the Brothers of Joy.
Mhm.
And with God all involved in this, helped us to overlook that precious time that we really need. But we did. We found time. We still found time
Mhm.
That's
to be together. And matter of fact, I think he's had one babysitter
You did what?
he's had one babysitter in 10 years.
One babysitter.
Yeah.
One.
Uh-huh.
In my family, we're raising him together. It's 5 of us that are here. And when I said we were gonna raised Sebastian, they're all raising him.
Yeah.
So what we're learning how to do is when he get in trouble, only one person fuss at him at a time. Because that can be fresh. So he knows he can't get away with stuff,
Right.
and he has learned how to act with this sister as opposed to that sister. He's a smart little boy.
Oh yeah.
But everybody loves him, and you know everybody wants to see him succeed.
Yeah.
And he's a busy little boy, so I have to be that person who I'm not a helicopter parent, but I know how some people are with busy little boys. They think they're bad, they think they're this, and I don't want him to ever think that he's a bad boy. He's just
Right.
busy. Because sometimes, even at church, he'll say, this person said that they said something mean to me. I won't even say what.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what do you think about yourself? And he said, I don't think that. He said, but it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And I said, just remember, we love
Right.
you,
Yeah.
and you just show me who that person.
So
You
what
showed me
I'm
that.
hearing is that there was, even through these tough times, it allowed you to experience some really powerful moments, like how God intervened when you arrived. Like that must have felt like chills
That was
to
God.
just
Yeah.
know,
It was
like
nothing,
Yeah.
nothing
That's
but
amazing.
God.
Like,
that's amazing.
Well, I think there's one part she left out was when the police officer told her, said, I've got the baby in my arm. This was in Las Vegas. She said she will hold the baby until she gets there.
Mhm. And they
And I
didn't
thought
know
about
that I
that.
had just landed.
right.
They thought I was already there,
Living there.
living there.
Yes.
And I just landed at the airport
Yeah, like
and went straight to get the baby. I mean, that was nothing but God.
And she said, Barbara told the police officer, she says, well, I just got to the airport. And the police officer, well, I'll wait for you.
Waited for me.
I mean, I think about all this and I'm saying the police officer didn't have to do
do
that.
that. Yeah.
Normally, the
Right.
norm is you
Call
call
yeah.
children's
Yes.
services.
Yeah.
And that in itself was a blessing.
There's
Even-
no way you can tell me that there's not a powerful influence.
And it's not for a reason. It probably took God to put this child in our life.
Right.
Who knows where we would be today? I may be on the East Coast and she may be on the West Coast. I don't know. Hating each other.
Times I could have killed you, right?
Said the death do us part. Take a minute.
Like he just keeps breathing.
That's what.
But I get it though. The shot that this young boy brings joy and into the liveliness into the home, and it is amazing. I don't know. What about you? Did you get little nuggets from what I put you through?
Waiting for the nuggets now. But I felt like in the times when we were helping out with the family, we always were like, any of the kids could come at any time. Because we just felt like
Right.
kids are kids. Like
We were a safe space.
yeah, we were always safe space for kids. And then with helping out with the adults, it was a little bit more challenging just because like more adults in one space and everybody having their own ways of things as adults,
Yeah.
but you're in my my space, because my mom told me when I got
In
grown,
your space telling you what to do.
right,
Yes.
like when I got grown, I can do what I want to do in my house, but not even in a bad way, but at the same time, just being respectful of other people being in your
In your
adult
space,
space. 'Cause
yes.
Right.
yeah, like I would never want to see anyone not be safe or in a place where
Right.
they could be comfortable and things like that, even if it goes with making myself be uncomfortable to make them feel comfortable. And so I think probably more so I just put myself on the back burner more when others were around and stuff. And sometimes it just didn't always seem like I was a priority.
Yeah, and I got it. So, and then you got to understand, I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not making any
Yeah,
excuses,
but
but I'm in the middle, and so I'm trying to navigate my familial ties
Mhm.
in my relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, and sometimes I'll ask myself, well, what can I do?
And you were newlyweds.
And I was
Yeah,
newlyweds.
like,
And I'm like, what can I do? Like, if I'm harsh here, I
yeah,
hurt people I love. And if I don't do something here, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
And it was never that extreme,
yeah,
but I
but
felt like it needed to be dealt with. And we would have these moments. So the first time, my first family member, I was able to remove that. And we started to get normality
yeah,
back.
but like at that time we weren't married yet.
Mhm.
That's true. That was
We
different.
weren't married
We
yet,
wasn't
so
married.
it was
So
different.
it would happen before we got married.
Like
Mhm.
that family was around and stuff and things like
Mhm.
that.
And then, so we were good. We were happy. We got married. We think everything is settled. Then it happened again. And then I eventually was able to kind of get that situated. And then it happened again. And so, I was just like, okay, this woman has the patience of a saint. And I can't take advantage of that. I really
Where'd
need
you
to.
learn that?
I think that honestly, my mom is a caretaker, even though she acts like she's not.
Mm.
I feel like she's really the one that'll, just kind of step up and do what needs to be done, period.
Yeah.
Like she's that one in the family that, okay, you know, I'll get I'll get mom some. My grandma was lived with us when I was, like she's the one that just kind of takes care of things and
Yeah.
people.
That's the
So,
way our family
mhm,
is. It's like, oh, auntie and her 4 kids
mhm,
need a place to stay. My grandmother would say, "Come on over
yeah,
here." And
Mhm.
she'd have pallets on the floor for them to sleep, and
mhm,
she'd get up in the morning and do all the cooking.
yeah,
And then my mother would do the same thing. "Oh,
mhm,
this
yeah,
person needs some help.
yeah,
Let's go get some groceries and take
mhm,
them to this person." And I think it's just ingrained in
mhm,
us. And Marcellus's family is the same way.
mhm,
Right.
So what I think our whole thing is we learn to fight with each other, fight
together,
together
Together, yeah.
Right.
instead of fighting
against,
against each other.
yes,
Right.
So it takes a lot of communication.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that I don't get mad at him and he don't get mad at me, because
mhm.
this brother sometimes when he gets mad, he's tight-lipped, don't want to speak and all of that. So I'll come and I'll
Uh-huh,
kiss him on the forehead.
uh-huh,
And he can't help he can't
yeah,
help but
No.
yeah, milk's
Yeah.
yeah.
nice.
She can't hold anger in you. She's angry and smiling.
Yeah,
Like, how do you smile when you're upset?
exactly. I just don't have time, because
Mhm,
I used to be that with my first husband. I used to get so mad at him, and I'd be mad at him for weeks. And then if
mhm,
somebody asked me, "What are you mad at?" I can't
can't
remember,
remember.
because I was just determined to be mad,
Mhm,
But I've grown,
uh-huh,
I've grown, and even after divorce, we became friends,
uh,
and
mhm,
until he died last year.
mhm,
And, but we are just caring people. We care for people. And
mhm,
even when he hated me, I still cared for him.
yeah,
And then when Sebastian came along, it
mhm,
was like, oh, we got to be family,
uh-huh,
because that's
yeah,
his
yeah,
grandfather. And this grandfather and that grandfather
mhm,
became friends.
uh-huh, yeah,
So,
yeah,
you just have to not have all of that heavy hatred in your heart, because people can be mean,
mhm,
and you can really carry that burden in your heart and be hurting all the time, or you can just learn how to let it go.
yeah,
So that's what I had to learn, how to let go. Don't spend all this time being angry or holding grudges because somebody hurt you 20 years ago.
mm,
You just have to let it go. You have to learn how to forgive,
yeah,
and just let it go. And it's easier said than done, but prayer, it allows you
Mhm,
to let things go.
mhm,
You really do. So we pray every morning before we leave
mhm,
before he leaves for
yeah,
work. And when Sebastian and I get ready to get in the car, before we get out of the
mhm,
driveway, we're praying. Sebastian even prays.
uh-huh,
He prays very well too. But our family is a praying family.
mm,
So regardless of what this person need over there, what family. You help them as much as you can help them, but if it's taking away from your peace, if it's
Right.
taken away from uh making you lose sleep at night, you have to sit down and pray and say, okay,
Yeah.
Lord, how can we help this
Yeah.
person
I'm glad you said
Boundaries.
that
without
because I
take,
think we learned that now. Mia will protect me from me being overstressed by family sometimes. I love my family. First of all, my family loves me. They love her more than they love me.
He says that all the time.
If
I
we,
think
if
I
we
think
had
that way too.
separate, they would kick me out.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you're the guest. But, Mia keeps me in check, keeps me grounded, don't let me go but so far.
yeah.
And I try to keep her protected too. Like she knows anyone comes at her, they gonna have to come at me. And Fort Knox with it.
Exactly. And it's kind of like that thing. I can cuss you out, but nobody else can cuss you out.
Not even I.
Yeah.
Not even I will beat myself up before I let anything hurt. Let her drop a tear.
And
Let her drop a tear.
yeah,
Don't
also in a
suffer.
relationship, what you must do is not allow anybody to bash your mate,
That's right.
and you don't bash your mate
Two
behind
people.
their back
Right.
to
That's
other
right.
people.
Right.
So if things aren't going right, it's nobody's business but yours and God.
That's right.
Because I can't tell my sisters. My
Yeah.
sisters and I are very close, and our husbands think we tell each other
But
everything,
everything.
but we
They
don't.
do.
No, we don't.
No, they do.
They
She's got that
assume.
favorite sister that she tells everything.
They assume that we tell each other every single
Everything.
thing. We do tell each other a lot,
Uh-huh.
but we don't get into the nitty gritty of things. We might say something like, "He just ticked me off." And you know what? I wish I could have just done. And we make a joke out of it.
Right.
But we don't bash our spouses to each other. And
That's awesome.
but they think we do.
It's very impressive to me. I listen to her family every morning on the prayer call, and very impressive the way they express their love for each other. They pray for each other's children, and they pray for each other, and they pray for each other's husbands.
Wow.
I've heard them pray for that, and to me that's very important.
Yeah.
Because as you grow older, you will realize that there is a real God. And some point in time, hopefully you have seen God's hand in action. So you know that there's a real God. Now we don't argue. We don't argue. I mean, we I won't say maybe disappointed, maybe a little bit, but it don't last long. It's just something that I look at because we're human.
And we might disagree on certain things. And Sebastian say, don't argue. And I said, we're not arguing. We're just having a disagreement on stuff. It's just a discussion.
That's that
But
checkpoint.
he doesn't like any voices to be elevated at all. So he thinks it's an argument. And he said, did I start this? He might ask a question. What was that question when we were traveling? He asked a question, and I gave my opinion, you gave your opinion, and we were
I forget what it
I
was.
forgot what it was. But he said, please don't argue. Did I start this? I said, no, we're not.
We were
we're
just
not."
discussing, but he thought we were arguing. I said, no, son, we're not arguing. And we don't do that. We don't argue anymore. And that's in growth.
Yes.
That's in growth. And what has really helped me a lot as well, my responsibility as a spiritual leader of my household and my house is that in being the leader within the church has helped me to grow to understand that. You really need that understanding. I tell people that why do we help so many people? Because God tells me I am my brother, my sister's keeper.
That's right.
So family, we've helped a lot of family and will continue to do so because God can bless us a lot more than I can bless anybody else.
That's right.
And matter of fact, he tells us, in order for me, if I got something against you, how's God gonna forgive me if I can't forgive you?
Right.
Yeah. Forgiveness is big.
as we wrap this up, and this was a good conversation. I mean, we could go another hour.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
We are trying to reach younger couples, those who are just starting out. That's my goal, is to give them something to work with. And so if you could take one nugget from what we discussed tonight, and if you were talking to a younger version of yourself as a couple, or just a couple out there that you could imagine that's just starting out, who's going to experience this, what would you say to them? What would you tell them to prepare themselves, or what they need to do in order to weather this?
I would say, let me say, I would tell them, first of all, accept God in your life.
Right.
That should be number one. That should be your number one love. As much as I love this woman, she's not my first love. My first love is God.
Right.
Because from a human point of view, she can't bless me like God. If God has really blessed me, I'm a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
God took me through that not 1 year, but 2 years, and still blessing me to this day. And that's why I serve him. And that's why my relationship with her has grown to the point that we beyond all that garbage, if you will, on that side of life now, because God is in my life. And I would tell them, stop and think before you act. Because I've talked to a lot of people.
Stop before you think.
Yeah.
I mean, before you
act.
Stop and think before you act. That's our nugget. That's the nugget. We'll put a little line there.
And that's why I'm trying to teach Sebastian, before somebody say something negative to you, before you respond to that, think before you speak, because I'm also teaching him words can be hurtful.
Yes.
And once they're spoken,
Can't take them back.
you can't take them back. And so I would tell them, think before you speak, and know there's the consequences for all that negative stuff. It's hard to take all that back,
Right.
So you don't gain anything from it.
Right.
Listen, shut up. Sometimes just shut up and listen.
Just listen.
And that's one thing I will say men don't do well.
Right. Can we fix it?
Men don't listen to their wives like they should.
Sometimes I catch myself because I think I'm listening, but I'm really waiting to respond.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I have to take a breath and actually try to digest what you just said. And sometimes I catch it and I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. But when I'm focused on waiting to respond, I always mess up. Okay, what about you?
You have to remember that you're in this thing together, and you got to put God in the middle of your togetherness.
Yeah.
And you can't pour all of your energy in outside of your marriage. You have to make your marriage the main point. It's him and me. Is not me against him because I'm choosing my family. You can't choose. You have to make sure that whatever you do, you're doing it together, not against each other.
That's right.
So it can't be like, I'm gonna help my family whether you like it or not. It's got to be a different way for you to.
Yeah, you just reprove me. I'm good. I'm guilty of that.
Because they just might need some help, but get each other's permission, or try to get them to understand.
You haven't secretly though helped your family and didn't tell him?
Have I ever done that?
I know I have.
Have I? I don't think I've ever.
That is good, because I have a problem with that.
You mean like give them money?
Yeah,
Marcellus.
it's easier to just.
I don't think so either, and that's I'm thinking. That's when we have an understanding,
Okay.
but we were older as well when we got married.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of experience before we got married. So we pretty much knew
you learn from your past mistakes.
what to expect.
Right.
Like early in our marriage, it got to the point finally I said, okay, hold on. She's saying what she got to say, and I'm saying what I got to say together at one time. So finally, I just decided, hold on. God expects me to be the leader of this family. Mm-hmm. So finally we agreed when she talked, I would listen. Mm-hmm. And then when she's through, I'd always ask her, are you finished?
Mm-hmm. And it's the way he says, are you finished?
No, I'm not finished. I got another page.
And then I would say what I had to say. And sometimes she would interrupt and I'd say, hold on, baby. Hold on. Let me finish. We promise
Because I have
to
a
listen.
tendency,
And that has been so...
like I'm doing right now. Little pisses. I'm trying to get my point in. It's that right there.
Love it. I love it.
But I would not change my relationship with this woman.
Nothing in the world.
No, nothing. She means the world to me. And sometimes I might not act like it, but I know where home is and I am home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not very often she doesn't know where I am. Mm-hmm. I've never done drugs, alcohol, smoke. I've never done any of that in my life. None whatsoever. And I'm just thankful for God for allowing her to be in my life. And it's kind of strange how we met. Her and her sisters came to our church to sing for AYS program. Mm-hmm. My buddy was back there. I'll never forget. So we weren't singing. And so the Powell sisters. And so at the end, we had a little bit of time left. Mm-hmm. And the leader of AYS said, well, can we get y'all to do one more song? So they didn't want to do one more song. He said, well, does anybody want to do a single? So nobody said anything. So finally, Barbara said, I will. So she got up and done a song called It Must Be Love. And my buddy sitting back there, me and him sitting at the back of the church. He said, man, she's singing. I said, man, please. And I already said I'd gone through a relationship that was really rocky. And I had already said, I don't need no more woman in my life. I got a child. I'm good. I'm good. And he kept saying, man, she's singing. I said, man, no, she's not. No, she's not. So when they got ready to leave, he said, why don't you go get her phone number? I said, if you want the phone number, you go get it. He was already married as well. And so he went out.
His name is Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah.
He runs out and he said, Connie, because he knew my sister. Uh-huh. He said, Connie, what's your sister's phone number? Mm-hmm. And she said, you're married. What do you want her phone number for? He said, no, it's not for me. It's for my buddy here. Mm-hmm. Marcel was standing on the steps of the church, just being cool. And
that's cold.
Yeah, and he said,
I had
he
hopes.
wants my phone number. And I said, why don't your friend ask me for my number himself? Mm-hmm. And then he came over, gave me his phone number, his pager number, his house number, his work number. And my sister said, why'd you take that man's phone number? You know good and well you're not going to call him. Because people, when I moved to Georgia, every time I turn around, somebody would say, oh, here's my phone number. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I think I'm going to call him. Mm-hmm. And I did. And we talked on the phone for hours, but just as friends. Yeah. And we stayed friends that was like in August when I first got there. Mm-hmm. And then around one of the holidays, I think Thanksgiving, mm-hmm. he had called me and I said, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And we're just friends, mm-hmm. right? And he said, I think I'm going to go to North Carolina to see my mom. And I said, well, if you change your mind, why don't you come to Huntsville mm-hmm. to my dad's house? Yeah. Then he said, I'll let you know. Mm-hmm. He called me back the next day and he said, I'm going to take you up on it. Mm-hmm. So he came to Huntsville and introduced himself to my dad. So we're all sitting around talking and my dad is asking me a bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. Well, what about this? And what about this? He in the military, he said, I said, Marcellus, my dad has a lot of questions for you. So I switched seats and let him sit with my dad and they just had the best conversation. Then when it was time to go to bed, my dad fixed him up a bed in the family in the was it the family room?
No, we slept on the couch. He slept in the chair.
Who?
Us.
My dad?
You did sleep in the chair, and I slept on the couch. We
Oh,
both fell asleep.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And
Okay, he went watching.
yeah.
I'm like,
So
he's
the
standing guard.
So the rest of us just went on to bed. But when it was time to go, wait a minute, you came with me, didn't you?
That was the second time I went
Oh,
with you.
okay.
Yeah.
So the second time when we went there, I forget, was that near Christmas?
Yes,
Whatever time
Christmas.
it was. And Marcellus said, I'll drive you,
Mhm.
because he really liked my dad. Still, we're not dating,
Yeah.
right? So we're getting ready to leave. My dad comes out to the car and he said, I can
Mm.
see my daughter's in good hands.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
man.
Now I just have to worry about one more.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
She said, Dad.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even dating this guy.
Uh-huh.
You were. No, see,
No.
you were. You didn't know. You were. It was already done. I did that mess to me too. And she was just laughing at me. She was like, yeah, we're dating. It was a while.
Oh, it
Like,
was
yeah, we're
funny
dating.
though. It's like,
Okay, Mia, we're almost out of time.
Uh-huh.
What pointer would you give?
I would say to have boundaries.
yes, I agree.
Have boundaries and stick with them. And then just to let the family even know that, like, from the beginning.
Right.
Mhm.
I'll give two. One, their crisis is not your crisis. So when someone comes to you in crisis, don't panic with them. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Try to ask questions. Don't let them bring you into the panic. Because I find out that usually when you ask questions, it's not as crazy as you think it is. And then number two, I used my wife as my defense. So anytime someone came and asked me something, I said, I have to check with my wife. You gotta check with my wife.
That's
And
a
by,
good one.
and by then they're like, oh, never mind, don't worry about it. Because it gives me time to say no. And I would say, I gotta check with my wife. And half the time I don't even ask. I'm just like, I needed a way to say no.
But that also established the fact that I'm not doing anything without my wife knowing
Yeah,
about
That's right.
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
That's right. And that means that they can't manipulate you.
exactly.
Okay, so once again, guys, through the thick and thin, we want to save marriages. We want not just to save them, but we want them to be fun. And in order to do that, you need to know the rules of the game. And that's why we're bringing in people who have experienced 23 years, 20 years of this love game, this thing called marriage. And we want you to stick it out through the thick and thin. I want to thank you guys, the loves for
loves.
coming. Yes, the love for
Thank
coming
you.
in and blessing us with your story and
Thank
letting
you.
us know everything that you guys went through. And it's empowered me. I know it's definitely strengthened my baby, and hopefully it's helped those out there in the TV world.
Well, prayerfully, something has been said that can help someone
Somebody
else.
else.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Life is about choices.
Mhm.
Prayerfully, they can make the right choice.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
All right.
After 20 years of marriage, we have been tested and we have endured. We cannot predict what the next 20 years may look like, but we are sure that we are better together and that we know how to make it through the thick and thin. See you next time.